renting, or buying a house. It's the biggest money decision most people will ever make, and almost everyone gets handed the same line. Buy. Owning builds wealth. Renting is throwing money away. So here are two people who actually ran the math forward over 25 years. One bought the house. The other rented and quietly put $1,000 a month into the stock market instead. 25 years later, the renter has nearly double the money in cash he can actually spend. And the homeowner has a house and a story about how he did the smart thing. By the end, one of them will own a paid-off house and a quiet feeling of pride. The other will have a fortune large enough to buy that house twice over in cash and still keep most of it. Watch which one is which. Tonight, the real numbers, to the dollar, on the most expensive belief in personal finance. Because this belief doesn't just cost you a little, it can cost you a second fortune and make you thank it on the way out. Meet our two people. You know them by now. Same income, same city. Same $3,500 a month for a roof over their heads. And two opposite bets about what that roof should be. Noah is no expert. He never studied markets, never picked a stock in his life. A few years back, someone close to him said one sentence: just put $1,000 a month into a simple index fund and don't touch it. So he did, mostly to end the conversation. For a whole year, he barely looked at it. And then, slowly, it clicked how stupidly simple the thing actually was. Because that fund wasn't clever, stressful investing. He wasn't picking winners or timing anything. With one monthly transfer, he owned a tiny slice of hundreds of the biggest companies on Earth, all at once. When the economy grew, he grew with it. No genius required, just owning a piece of everything. And waiting. The long-run average that ownership pays is about 10% a year. And what stopped Noah cold was that this wasn't a secret. There was no trick, no edge, nothing clever to figure out. The hardest part wasn't understanding it, the hardest part was doing nothing. Leaving it completely alone for 25 years, while it quietly did all the work for him. Adam did the thing everyone's parents push. He bought a $650,000 house, $130,000 down, a $3,500 mortgage every month for 25 years. Rent is dead money, he told Noah. At least I'll own something real. And here's the fair part. Noah pays the exact same $3,500 a month. He just pays it as rent instead of a mortgage. Same money out the door. The whole story is what each man does with everything around that number. Now, let me be honest about houses, because this is where most of these comparisons cheat. Home prices already exploded over the last decade. They shot up to the stars. They are not going to do that again. Nobody serious thinks a house triples from here. So we won't pretend it does. Let's be generous to Adam instead. Let's say his house simply doubles over 25 years. $650,000 becomes about $1.3 million. He finishes the mortgage. He owns it, free and clear, no more payments. That is real wealth. It feels completely like winning. So now look at Noah, the renter, the one throwing his money away. He pays the same $3,500 to rent the same kind of home, but there's a whole layer of cost he never touches. He never pays property tax. He never replaces a roof or a furnace or pays a cent of homeowner's insurance. That's well over $1,000 a month that Adam quietly burns, and Noah simply doesn't. So Noah takes $1,000 of it every single month and feeds it straight into the market. $1,000 a month, 10% a year, 25 years. That $1,000 a month grows into $1.2 million. But it didn't look like that for a long time. For the first 10 years, the two of them ran almost neck and neck. Adam had a house. Noah had a slow, boring, unimpressive account that barely seemed to move. At every family dinner, Adam was the one who'd made the grown-up choice, and Noah was the one still renting like a student. Then the curve did what curves do. Quietly, in the back half, Noah's account stopped crawling and started to run. And by the end, it was sprinting. That's the cruelty of compounding. It pays you almost nothing for years, just long enough to make you feel foolish for starting. And then it hands you everything all at once, right at the finish line, to the one person stubborn enough to do nothing and simply wait. So let's stop right here and put them side by side. Adam's house, $1.3 million. Noah's account, $1.2. It looks like a tie. It even looks like the homeowner edges it out. Adam feels right. He has a house. Noah has a screen with a number on it. Except we forgot something. Something big. Adam put $130,000 down to get that house. $130,000, gone the day he signed. Noah never did. He kept that money, and he invested it too, right alongside everything else. And then he left it completely alone for 25 years. So what does a single $130,000 down payment become, sitting in the market that long? $1.4 million. From the down payment alone. The money Adam handed to a seller on day one is the money Noah quietly turned into a second fortune. So add it up honestly. Noah doesn't have $1.2 million. He has over $2.5 million. Against Adam's $1.3 million house, the renter ends with nearly double. And every dollar of it is liquid, spendable, his. And there's one difference that never shows up in any total: how fast each fortune actually turns back into money. Noah can sell every share he owns and have the full amount sitting in his bank account in 48 hours. From his couch, in his pajamas, 3 taps on a phone. Done. Adam, to free up a single dollar, has to list the house, stage it, let strangers walk through his bedroom, wait months for the right buyer, watch the deal nearly collapse twice, and then hand 6% to an agent on the way out the door. Same word, wealth. 2 completely different things. One you can spend by the weekend. The other can take half a year just to reach. One of them owns his wealth. The other one lives inside it and can't touch it. And it shows up in his whole life. Adam can't take a better job in another city without selling. He can't move closer to family without months of paperwork and tens of thousands in fees. The house didn't just take his money. It quietly took his options. Noah, renting, can leave in 30 days, follow the opportunity, and his fortune follows him in a single click. Nobody ever puts a price on that freedom. But for 25 years, Adam paid for the opposite of it, and called it security. The renter, the amateur, the one wasting his money, won. Not by a little, by a whole house. So here is the real question. If the renter wins by that much, why does almost everyone still scramble to buy? Why did Adam never once doubt he was the responsible one? Because this was never a math decision. It runs on something far older than money. For nearly all of human history, land was survival. Territory meant shelter, safety, status, ground to defend, and to pass down. The ancestor who secured land outlived the one who wandered. So owning a home doesn't register in the brain as a financial position. It registers as winning at being alive. And renting, living on ground that belongs to someone else, ground you could be told to leave, pokes a fear older than every spreadsheet ever made. And then there's that phrase, rent is dead money. It feels true, because you can see the rent leave your hands every month, a visible loss, handed to a landlord. What you cannot see is the dead money buried inside owning. Here's just one piece of it. Over 25 years, Adam handed the bank more than $500,000 in interest alone. Not principal, not the house, pure interest, the rent you pay just to borrow the money. He called Noah's rent dead money, while quietly paying $500,000 in rent to a bank and never once calling it that. Add the property tax, the insurance, the endless repairs, and a huge slice of everything Adam paid built him nothing at all. He fled a loss he could see, straight into a bigger one he couldn't. And this isn't just a feeling, it's been measured. Over more than a century, once you adjust for inflation, American home prices barely moved at all. The thing everyone knows always goes up, mostly just kept pace with the cost of living. And when researchers ask homeowners how fast their house is really growing, people guess far higher than the truth. The belief is so strong, it edits the memory. And a belief this deep, this universal, is never left alone. An entire industry is built on top of it. Every "rent is throwing money away" headline. Every "buy now or be priced out forever." None of it is neutral math. It's a machine that only earns the moment you sign. The agent, the lender, the builder, every one of them gets paid the second your territory instinct overrules your calculator. They aren't selling you a home. They're selling you the feeling of having one. And here's the trap that keeps the whole thing spinning. After Adam sees these numbers, he won't conclude renting can win. He'll decide, I just needed to buy at a better time, or a bigger house. But timing was never the lever. Renting versus buying is a math question, not a moral one. And the answer moves with the numbers. Sometimes the answer is buy, and far more often than anyone admits, the answer is rent. So here's how you actually decide, with instinct locked out of the vote. First, run one number. Take the home's price and divide it by a full year's rent for the same place. Over 20, renting and investing almost always wins. Under 15, buying often does. 5 minutes and you have your answer. Not a feeling, a number. Second, and this is the one that decides everything. If you rent, you have to invest the difference, every single month, automatically. Noah didn't get rich by renting. He got rich by renting and investing. Spend that difference instead, and renting becomes the worst of both worlds. The whole strategy lives or dies on one automatic transfer. Third, if you still want the house, buy it. Buy it as a home. A place to live, a thing you love, a life you want under a roof that's yours. Just stop calling it the investment that always wins, because the numbers say it usually doesn't. So here's the one move before you click away. Whether you rent or you own, set up a single automatic transfer into a broad index fund today, even a small one. If you rent, it is the entire reason renting can win. If you own, it's the wealth your house is quietly crowding out. Either way, it's the part instinct will never do for you. And if you've never seen exactly how $1,000 a month turns into millions, why the curve stays flat for years, then explodes, that's the episode waiting right here. It's the prequel to this one. Watch it next and subscribe. We take these money instincts apart one at a time, and every single one is wired into the next. The ledger never closes. It only grows longer. This entry cost over $1 million. Paid quietly, across 25 years, by a man who was certain, every single month, that he was the smart one. That's the signature of every line in here. Not a loss that feels like a loss that feels like home. Right up until the math comes due. So we keep counting. One instinct, one number, one quiet fortune at a time.